Hello everyone. For my outlines today, for my first one, I chose the maintaining order through deviance, the emotional deviance power and professional work of municipal court judges. And so whenever I think about confusion in a court setting, it reminds me of how differently people would react if they encountered the same scenario in a different context. Like the type of environment that people are in can change their interactions. Confusion, especially like when there's an authority figure present, can lead to poor outcomes. For example, like sometimes people choose to flee from the police instead of getting arrested immediately because, they have the internal struggle of what they're going through, like fight or flight, and I don't think that they actually think they can outrun the cops, but there's always a chance, I guess. And so this article taught me that judges and other professionalists in the courts are taught feeling rules so that they don't have any influence on the case presented. And I hadn't thought about judges being allowed more room for emotional deviance because of their power. The author Scarduzio showed that judges walk the line of what is acceptable, or that judges walking the line of what is acceptable helps keep them in control. People who are being judged do not have the same allowance because they can be seen as being disrespectful, and this can have all kinds of repercussions. Thus, they may feel wronged and can experience a lot of confusion or frustration that they can't behave the same way. This reminded me of a viral video of Eric Mays on TikTok. He was a councilman for the city of Flint, Michigan. He went viral for his behavior during meetings where he would say things or react in ways that were deviant for the situations, and especially for city meetings. He would speak out of term, mock other people, and like the most viral clip is one of him going where he goes, "I'm not playing on my phone. I'm taking care of business." Love him. He's great. And he was allowed to behave in this manner because of his position of authority, where like if someone from the city had behaved that way, they absolutely would have been kicked out. And I'm sure that this deviation from the norm has been very confusing for the other people on the council and those in the city. And for my second article, I chose Walking an Emotional Tightrope, Managing Emotions in a Women's Prison. And I'm sure that emotional expression is very different from people on the outside, and that some of these norms are created because people can do some crazy things to each other. I bet it's really confusing. I bet it's a very confusing and terrifying experience to go through for the first time, but especially like as a young person, like if you're 18, and there are probably feeling rules that are either directly stated or people just figure things out as they go. Being in an extremely stressful environment can lead to some big feelings, and not being able to express them out of fear can be very confusing and led to unspoken consequences. This article shows how incarcerated women manage their emotions while in prison and the impacts that it has on people. Greer argues that the situations that occur can make the environment stressful, and not being able to express yourself the way that you normally would is restrictive, leading to an emotional tightrope. And women don't feel like they can express themselves because emotions can be used against them by both the correctional officers and inmates, since it is seen as a weakness. It was also found that women manage their emotions using different strategies, such as using activities that will distract yourself, turning to religion, bottling up their emotions, self-reflection, and finding humor in situations. I didn't really think about how people cope with emotions in prison, so like this was a good read for me. And so my example, I used the video game called Life is Strange that I played a few years ago, and the main character goes off to school and struggles a lot with how to react in a lot of different situations. You have a variety of options to choose from in these situations, and none of them really feel right. And she gets very confused and anxious about the smallest things and how people around her perceive her. The school that she's in has a strong culture that she doesn't feel like she fits into, and she overcompensates by trying to do the right thing and just goes overboard. I thought that this was a good example, since she has to figure out how to regulate her emotions in stressful situations to not get bullied by everyone else, but obviously on a lesser scale than prison. Thanks.